Oh.
Have you ever thought about how important your job is? In fact, when you really stop to think about it, your job is one of the most important jobs there is because you help feed people around the world. Each piece of fruit and vegetable harvest or pack with your hands can travel thousands of miles to feed all kinds of people, men and women, children, the elderly, and families just like yours. What about your own family? You probably wash their fruits and vegetables or make sure they wash them before they eat them. And there are probably many other things you do to protect your family and make sure what they eat is good for them. In a similar way, you also play a part in helping to make sure the food you harvest is safe for millions of other people. Though you've never met most of them, you touch their lives every day. You could even say that their health and safety is influenced by how well you do your job. As you can see, your job is very important. Food experts recommend that we all eat at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables every day to get the nutrition our bodies need to stay healthy. People seem to be listening to these important messages because they are eating more fresh fruits and vegetables than ever before. Increased consumption of fresh fruits and vegetables means that everyone involved in growing, harvesting, sorting, and packing produce is very important in assuring the safety of fresh fruits and vegetables. One way that fruits and vegetables can become unsafe is by carrying harmful germs. Although we can't see germs without a microscope, they are everywhere, even on us. Let's see how these microscopic germs can spread without anyone knowing it, even during harvest and packing. Suppose you get germs on your hands by doing some ordinary everyday thing, like going to the bathroom, or blowing your nose, or tying your shoes, or even picking something up off the floor. These germs or bacteria that are on your body, clothes, and hands can be transferred to fresh fruits and vegetables during harvesting and packing. As you can see, there are many different ways bacteria and other disease-causing organisms can move from place to place, causing fruits and vegetables to be contaminated. Contamination can occur when good hygienic practices are not followed. In packing of fruits and vegetables, showering daily, wearing clean clothes, and washing your hands often are examples of hygienic practices. Practicing good personal hygiene is very important for your own health as well as for the safety of the fruits and vegetables you harvest and pack. Washing your hands can prevent you from getting sick and can prevent germs from being passed on to the fruits and vegetables you handle. Prevention is the goal. Unfortunately, when contamination does occur, those that get the sickest are the most vulnerable among us: the very young, the very old, pregnant women, and people with chronic illnesses. They can become so sick they could die because of these harmful germs. Of course, food is at risk for contamination at every step in the food system, through harvesting, sorting, and packing, while on display at the market, and even during preparation at home. But the only thing you can control is your own actions, and the things you do to protect the food you harvest or pack. We hope everyone does their job as well as you do. This video will discuss ways you can prevent contamination of fruits and vegetables while you work. The video was filmed in real production fields and packing houses across the United States. No operation is perfect, and so you may notice situations where practices could be improved, such as the addition of protective equipment such as hairnets or the removal of items such as jewelry. Take note of these practices as you watch the video and think about what you would do to prevent contamination. Your supervisor may take time hand washing facilities to be located near the toilet facility. Your hand washing facility is also required to have clean water, soap, and disposable towels. Although the water is clean, you should not drink it. The water is provided for hand washing only. Now, let's review the best hand washing technique for removing dirt and germs. It's important to take enough time to wash your hands properly. A recommended guideline for thorough hand washing is to continue washing, scrubbing all areas of your hands for at least 20 seconds. First, thoroughly wet your hands under the running water. Apply plenty of soap and work it into a lather. Be sure to wash all surfaces of your hands. It's natural to pay attention to the palms, but sometimes we forget to wash the backs of our hands and between our fingers. Wash all sides of your fingers and exposed areas of your forearms, and work the soap into the areas under and around your nails. When you've finished washing, rinse your hands. Dry with a towel and use the towel in a trash can when you are finished. Never use a towel more than once, and never share a towel with someone else. Many harmful germs hide in wet towels. You can make yourself and others sick using someone else's towel. Never ever just rinse your hands quickly without soap and wipe them on your clothing. Not only are your hands still dirty, you could pick up even more germs from your clothes. Practicing proper hand washing is the best way to reduce the risk of germs being passed from your hands to the fruits and vegetables that you touch. Finally, your employer may also provide a hand sanitizer, but use it only after washing your hands with soap first. If used alone, sanitizers can miss the germs that may be hiding in the dirt on your hands. If you are required to wear gloves, remember to use disposable gloves properly. They are not a substitute for proper hand washing. The best practice is to first properly wash and dry your bare hands, then put on your gloves. If you are required to wear non-disposable gloves, rubber gloves, the gloves should be washed as frequently as your hands. Remember to properly wash your hands before and after putting on non-disposable gloves, and throw them away when they get ripped, torn, or become uncleanable. Or towels, or has some other problem, let your supervisor know so it can be restocked or repaired. Your employer should provide drinking water for you that meets the standards for pure drinking water. The water container should be cleaned before filling and covered to prevent anything from contaminating it. If disposable cups are provided, use each cup only once, then throw it in the trash container. To protect yourself and your fellow workers from getting sick, never share cups, water dippers, containers, or water bottles that you brought from home, because germs can be easily transferred from one person to another. If water is provided from a drinking fountain, the fountain should have enough pressure to project the water well away from the spout. To protect yourself from getting other people's germs, never place your mouth on or close to the spout. If your drinking water facility is low on water or cups, or doesn't work well, let your supervisor know immediately. Not having water available when you need it can also make you sick. The first thing you must protect is your own health and safety. If you have symptoms of illness, such as nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea, you could be infected with germs that could harm the food you are handling, and you should not handle fruits and vegetables until you are well. Report any illness to your supervisor. If you cut yourself while working, seek first aid immediately. If you have a sore, cut, or blister that is bleeding or infected, or has some other discharge, apply proper medication and cover it with a bandage. Then notify your supervisor to ensure any produce or produce packages with blood on them can be destroyed. And if the sore, cut, or blister is on your hands, you should wear gloves, even if you don't normally do so. Ask your supervisor to provide gloves for you while your wound heals. This will provide added protection to prevent contaminating the fruits and vegetables you're working with. Remember, by practicing good personal hygiene, you protect your own health, your family's health, and the health of everyone who eats the fruits and vegetables you harvest and pack. Let's review some important things. Your employer must provide facilities for you to maintain your personal health and using a private cleaning to use the toilet with a fully equipped hand washing facility nearby, as well as a supply of clean drinking water that's readily available to you throughout your workday. Be sure to take advantage of these facilities and be aware of your own health and how it affects the fruits and vegetables you harvest and pack. If you are ill or have symptoms such as diarrhea, jaundice, or vomiting, notify your supervisor. You should not handle fruits and vegetables when you are ill because you could contaminate the produce you handle and make others very sick. Chronic diarrhea is not normal, and you could be infected with pathogens that can cause foodborne illness. If you have additional medical concerns, discuss them with your supervisor and seek medical care. Your health is very important. When you are healthy and at work, shower daily, wear clean clothes, and wash your hands often throughout the day. Hand washing is very important and should always be done after using the bathroom, as well as before and after eating, smoking, and taking breaks. Other important times include after touching exposed skin, dirty clothes, or other possibly contaminated surfaces. Be sure to use soap and rub your hands for 20 seconds. Protect yourself and the produce you handle. And remember, above all, your work is very important. Millions of people all across the world appreciate the safe and wholesome food you help produce. In fact, without your careful work, there wouldn't be the wonderful variety of fresh fruits and vegetables that keep families, just like yours, healthy and strong.
Imrul?
Yeah, Yana, thank you so much for displaying the video presentations. So now you can, I think our maximum participants has joined, so you can start your presentations.
Yeah, I think I just switch off and enter again because I have some problem with camera, I don't know. Yeah, but can you see the screen that I...
Yes, yes, we can see and also see of your face as well.
Part of my face, yeah?
No, it's full face. It's a very nice face.
Okay, because I have something. Okay, so now this is full screen, yeah?
Yeah,
Yes.
now it is okay.
Okay, so let's move on the topic that we stopped yesterday, and we start from food contact materials. While try to find food contact materials, I would like to say a few words that this video describes a personal hygiene of staff and what should be done. And now it is even more important, you know, taking into account COVID situations. So this is just a very important thing to stay healthy and not to spread disease to other people. So we move to food contact materials, yes, that we didn't cover yesterday. And I'm happy to see you again, and we continue with another very important topic, food contact material, because this is what going in contact with food directly. And it is either intended to be in contact with food or already contact with food, or can reasonably be brought into contact with food, or their constituents can be transferred to food under normal or possible use. And of course, in EU legislation, we have special provisions related to this topic. And this legislation applies to all food contact materials and also to some specific materials, because some specific materials as well. So, example of food contact materials. What you can imagine can be food contact material. This is, first of all, like containers for transporting food. It can be for commercial purposes, for transportation. And of course, this is containers that normal consumer use to take lunch or some food with you to work, or for some picnic.
Hello.
Hey, Maya, we can't hear you.
So Yana is, she is again joining.
Okay, sorry, something went
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah, okay, so we can continue. So, food contact materials includes containers, also machinery to process food, packaging materials, so like paper.
Sorry,
or,
Yana. Yana,
yeah.
sorry for the interruption. We didn't see of your PPT.
Yeah, it can need to be shared.
You need to allow me to do it.
Take your time. Take your time. No problem.
Imro.
Bye.
I need authorization to share my screen.
Sure. Yeah. Imrubai. Hello.
Oh, sorry, I'm muted. Yes, yeah, you can share your screen now. You're co-host already.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So examples of food contact materials, as I already mentioned: containers for transporting food, machinery to process food, packaging materials, kitchenware and tableware. And food contact materials do not cover fixed public or private water supply equipment. It is not food contact materials. And of course, Bangladesh exporters of fresh fruits and vegetables should meet requirements established for food contact materials in EU. So you can't put your fresh fruits and vegetables in some container or boxes which are produced from some materials that are not allowed to be used as food contact materials in EU. You should remember this very well. So, if to be more precisely, Regulation 1935 relates to materials and articles to come into contact with food. And this regulation sets out general principles of safety and inertness for all food contact materials. So some basic principles that materials should not release their constituents into food at level harmful for human health. Materials should not change food composition, taste, and odor in inaccessible way. And also legislation lays down special rules on active and intelligent materials and establishes provisions to enact additional European Union measures for specific materials. For example, at the moment, they have special measures only for plastics at the moment, but the Commission has the right to establish and adopt other specific measures, but it depends again on scientific assessment of European Food Safety Authority. At the moment, it's just for plastics. So in addition to this general provisions for plastic, we have some special regulation. And also this regulation sets out procedure to perform safety assessments of substances used to manufacture food contact materials involved in European Food Safety Authorities. So what we mean by this definition, active food contact materials and articles according to EU legislation. These are materials and articles that are intended to extend shelf life or to maintain or improve condition of packaged food. They are designed to deliberately incorporate components that would release or absorb substances into or from packaged food or environment surrounding food. And we have another definition, intelligent food contact materials and articles. And it means materials and articles which monitor condition of packaged food or environment surrounding food. So there are two main definitions related to this in EU legislation. Food contact material legislation should apply to materials and articles, including active and intelligent, which in the finished state intended to be brought into contact with food or already in contact with food and were intended for these purposes. So here on the slide, you can see general requirements. So all these materials and articles should be manufactured in compliance with good manufacturing practice, and they do not transfer their constituents to food in quantities which could endanger human health or bring unacceptable change in composition of food. So the main principle that food contact material should not release any constituents into food or into environments that could make human health in danger or somehow can influence the composition of food. And of course, labeling and advertising and presentation of such materials or articles should not mislead consumers. As I already mentioned, specific measures may be adopted or amended for active and intelligent materials and articles, adhesives and ceramics, cork and rubbers, glass and ion exchange resins, metals, paper and board, plastic and printed inks, regenerated cellulose, silicones and textiles, coatings, waxes and wood. So this all list or food contact materials possible. And for this type, Commission can adopt additional measures if necessary. And of course, there is explanation about specific measures. You can read here what it means. But I told you there are specific measures at the moment only for plastic. But just remember that if you export to EU, you should put your fresh fruits and vegetables in boxes, containers, in which produced from food contact materials, which are allowed and authorized in European Union. And now we move to organic legislation. Organic food now is very popular all over the world, and a lot of producers, let's say, mislead the consumers. So special requirements, what can be considered as organic food, were established in many countries and of course in EU. And we will go through these requirements for organic food in EU briefly. So this legislation lays down legal framework for organic products and contains basic objectives and general principles. And it covers agricultural products, either processed or unprocessed and intended for human consumption. Also, in EU, there are requirements for organic animal feed, vegetative propagated materials like roots and grafts and seed used for crops, and even for yeast used as food or feed. So you can see here on the screen, this is the label for organic food in EU. What are the main requirements to be organic? Like specific production methods and use of natural resources and strict restriction on synthetic chemical inputs. Also, GMO are prohibited in all of their forms during organic production. So if you use GMO, you can't say that your food is organic. Also, treatment of food by ionizing radiation also prohibited if you want to be considered as organic producers. And for example, food business operator wishing to operate organic and non-organic agricultural production must ensure that animals and land for these two activities are separated. For example, you produce some organic fruits and vegetables and non-organic. It should be strictly separated, and you need to have evidence for competent authorities during inspections that it is effectively done and working. So organic plant production must comply with certain rules. Ground treatment must preserve life and natural fertility of ground. Also, prevention of damage must be based on natural methods, but which can make use of limited number of plant protection products authorized by EU. Only limited number, and there is special list what type of plant protection products you can use during your organic production. Seed and plant propagation material must be produced using organic methods, and cleaning products authorization must be requested from EU. Limited number of products and substances are authorized to use in organic farming, as I already told. Plant care, cleaning of buildings used for plant production, very limited. Holding must comply with conversion period or transition phase during which organic practices must be respected. And labeling in EU may use eco. You see this word eco and bio to describe organic products, its ingredients, or so all consumers can see that this product is organic. But it can be done only if control body allows this after inspection of your premises. If we are talking about trade with non-EU countries, for imported fresh fruits and vegetables to be sold as organic. So if you want to sell, to export your fresh fruits and vegetables to EU as organic, you must conform all EU requirements established for organic fresh fruits and vegetables. And also you have to be subject to control. So some specific certification body will come to your farm and will inspect whether it is really organic production with EU requirements or not. This control may be carried out either by body recognized by European Union or by accredited control body. And after, you can get the label that you can see on this screen. You will get your number of your facility, and it will be labeled non-EU, so produced not in EU agriculture. And this label, like this green color and this stars leaves. All organic fresh fruits and vegetables that imported into EU must have appropriate electronic certificate of inspection, ECOI, which is called. And it should be administered through trade control and expert system. It is called traces. So this certificate you download through these traces, and inspector in EU can see all this information. Also, you need equivalent like certificate issued by control bodies designated by authorities of exporting countries. And for example, like when we are talking about fresh fruits and vegetables from Bangladesh, certificates are issued by control bodies designated by European Union. So your farm will be controlled by special body designated by European Union. It can be certification body like existing in your country, but they will come and inspect your farm. And if exporters do not have electronic certificate of inspection, their products will not be released from their port of arrival in EU. So if you want to send your product as eco or bio, you need to meet all these requirements. And if you want to read in details, so here in these presentations and in more details, you will read it in guidelines, all these regulations. First of all, this is the main regulation 2018/848 on organic production and labeling. So this is obligations and actions in the event of suspicion of non-compliance, also some provisions related to precautionary measures to avoid presence of non-authorized products in organic food, also measures that have to be taken in the event of such presence of non-authorized food, also provisions related to labeling, to certification requirements, rules for official controls and official activities in relation to organic production and labeling. And also very important part here, requirements for trade with non-EU countries. This is what I would advise you to read very carefully. this particular part, trade with non-EU countries in this regulation. Here you can see brief summary of some very important articles about that food business operator should comply with general rules, and GMO products produced from GMO must not be used in food or as food in organic production, as I already mentioned. And also here in Annex 2, you can see and read requirements for plant products that can be still used during organic production. And also you can read Annex 2 Part 4, this specific requirements for food business operators that produce processed food. And also Article 4 sets out procedure for authorization of products and substances for use in organic production. We are talking about plant protection products now, very limited list. Labeling also covered by this regulation. And as I already mentioned, either bio or eco can be used for labeling and only if these food comply with all requirements related to organic production. Of course, it should not mislead consumer in any way, and products that produced during conversion period should not be labeled as organic product. This is very strict. Article 31 is dedicated to labeling of products and substances used in crop production. Here you can see how this label look like and explanation what it means, like country of origin, country code, organic production method, bio, code number of certifier. So this is like UpCert, this is organization like a certification body who inspected your facility, and the logo itself. So also you can read here about compulsory indications. This is also very important, how to use logo, because when you produce your fresh fruits and vegetables in certain countries and you comply with all requirements and you are entitled to put logo of organic production, so you should use like a special logo like non-EU agriculture. So it will be seen that these fresh fruits and vegetables not from EU countries. Also, words EU and non-EU may be replaced by the name of the country or region. So it can be like not non-EU, but it can be Bangladesh, the name of the country itself. And of course, I would advise you also to read more carefully Article 45. This is about import of organic and in conversion products, so import of products into EU. And very important that products may be imported from third country, so from Bangladesh, to be placed on the EU market as organic product or as in conversion product if following three conditions are met. First, products is products as referred to in Article 2.1. So it means that these products meet all these requirements for organic products. And also one of the following applies. Product complies with chapter 2, 3, and 4. So you open this chapter and read what you should comply with. and all food business operators in third country have been subject to control by control authorities or control bodies, and those authorities or bodies have provided food business operators with certificate confirming that they comply with this regulation. So you should remember that you should be inspected by specially designated by European Union certification body. This body should confirm that you comply with all these requirements for organic production by issuing you certificate. And this certificate should be introduced in electronic format through traces system. This you should remember. Also, I already mentioned certificate, and FBOs, food business operators in third country, should be able at any time to provide importers and national authorities in EU with information allowing identification of food business operators that are their suppliers, and control authorities or control bodies of those suppliers with a view to ensuring traceability of organic or infant version product concerned. This is mainly for exporters. I mean, if you buy this organic food from farmers and then you send it to EU, so upon request of national authorities or your importer in EU, you should be able to provide information where did you take these fresh fruits and vegetables, and who inspected this farm, like certification body, and it needs to ensure traceability. We discussed traceability yesterday, and this is very important issue to have traceability of all type of food products. Article 46, this is recognition of control authorities and control bodies. So this is provisions like how to recognize these control authorities and who can be eligible to be such control authorities. And the main requirement that these control authorities should be competent to carry out control and to issue organic certificates in third country, to withdraw such recognition of such control authorities, and to establish lists of recognized control authorities. So it should be a list of these control authorities that can inspect your facilities. What are the criteria to be recognized as these control authorities? This body should be legally established in one member state of European Union or in third country, and this body should have capacity to carry out controls to ensure that conditions for organic production are met. Also, this is, you will read this Article 46 for recognition. It is quite important and quite difficult article, so you need to pay attention to all this legal requirement. Also, this regulation contains like various of annexes and important annexes. This is collection, packaging, transport, and storage of organic products. So also you can see on this slide what should include all these activities. This is continuation. Also, very important regulation 889/2008. This is rules for implementation of previous regulations. So here, this is explanation how to implement these rules established by previous regulation. And it is very also important to read for understanding how to use this organic legislation and whether you meet or not this requirement. And one more time, this is very important also to have all records, all type of records that will enable food business operator to identify and control authority to verify, like following issues like supplier and exporter of products, nature and quantities of organic products delivered, nature and quantities of organic products held in storages at premises, and nature, quantities, consignees, buyers of any product that have left unit or first consignees, premises or storage facilities. So the same principles of traceability that we already discussed. This is all information about these records. And here you can see also control requirements for imports of organic products from third countries. What information should be available? In case, for example, of first consignee, full description of unit should indicate facilities used for reception and storage. If importer and first consignee are the same, food business operator and operate in one single unit, reports may be formalized within single report. Importer and first consignee should keep separate financial and stock records unless they are operating in one single unit. And any details pertaining to transport from exporter in third country to first consignee and from first consignee's premises to consignees within EU should be provided on request of all control authority or control body. So traceability should be kept throughout all movements of this organic product from the producers, from farmer, through exporter to importer and further like in European Union. So all these players should have their separate stock of all necessary information. And upon request of control bodies, this information should be provided. Also, another regulation related to organic production, 1235/2008, and this regulation related to import of compliant products and import of products providing equivalent guarantees. So, and you can read this very carefully. And now we move to GMOs issue. Here is still the same regulation. GMOs. Yesterday, I remember it was a question regarding GMOs. So who are interested in this area, you can read the relevant part of guidelines. It is more in details, and we have also several annexes related to this topic. And now we can discuss briefly GMOs issue in EU. So, genetic material is modified artificially to give it new property. For example, plants resistance to disease, insect plants tolerance or herbicides, improving quality or nutritional value of food, increased yield. Such organisms are called genetically modified organisms or GMOs. And food items that contain or consist of such GMOs or are produced from GMOs are called genetically modified food. And in EU, there is a legal framework established for this type of food to ensure that development of modern biotechnology takes place in safe condition. Why they established this legal framework? Because GMO is, let's say, not very old topic. So GMO appeared 20-25 years ago, and still we do not have any evidence that scientific evidence which could be tell us 100% like certainty that it is dangerous for health or can influence the health, human health somehow, or it is safe. So we do not know 100% whether it is harmful or not. And that is why EU try anyway to protect human and animal health and environment by introducing safety assessment of highest possible standards before any GMO is placed on the market. So despite the lack of this information, EU tries to assess every GMO before to place on the market, and at the same time to bring harmonized procedure for risk assessment and authorization for GMOs that are efficient, time limited, and transparent. And of course, exporters of fresh fruits and vegetables to EU should meet requirements for GMO if they produce genetically modified fruits and vegetables, if you want to export to EU. So here you can see a GMO legislation framework in EU. You can see regulations, directive, and they cover different topics like traceability of GMOs, labeling of GMOs, authorization of GMOs, contained use of GMOs, transboundary movement of GMOs. But what is the main idea of all this legislation? This all legislation lays down rules on how GMOs are authorized and supervised, and on how GMOs should be labeled. And the aim is to protect people's lives and health, animal health, environmental and consumer interests. And this legislation applies to GMOs used in food or in feed, food or animal feed containing GMOs, and food and feed made with containing ingredients made using GMOs. And if to use GMO, food business operator should apply for authorization. And in regulation 1829, you can see the procedure about authorization of GMOs. Here, I will not stop because this is mainly like EU procedures for people, for producers who want to export to EU. They're more important to use GMOs that are allowed to be used in European Union, and to label properly and to have proper information needed for ensuring the traceability. So what is the most important about labeling? Food, and this is a principal difference between the USA and EU approach in labeling of GMO. So food and feed containing GMOs should be clearly labeled, and if food or feed contains less than 0.9% GMOs, it does not need to be labeled. So what it means? It means that if you produce something using GMOs, crops, seeds, or but the content of GMOs in your product less than 0.9, you should not label GMO products. But if it is more than 0.9, you should label your products with GMO sign. Why 0.9? Because all this new technique and testing laboratories can't recognize still GMO at the level less than 0.9. They will not see this like percentage, for example, 0.5. No laboratories exist at the moment all over the world who could detect such level of GMOs. So this is the main rules. If more than 0.9, you should label it with GMO sign. And of course, traceability. You need to have all information that will enable to track GMOs and products produced from GMOs at all stages of production and distributions. And very important to provide consumers and food trade with information and safeguards regarding food derived from GMOs. And the label, when we coming back for labeling, more than 0.9, it should be labeled this product contains GMOs or name of this genetically modified organism itself. And of course, EU must carry out inspections, take samples, and conducting testing to ensure that rules on GMO labeling are followed. So it can be random checking, take some food from supermarket, and if no label like this product contains GMOs and laboratory will detect GMO more than 0.9, so food business operator will be subject to penalties and to some actions established for violation of food legislation in EU. And every country should impose effective penalties for such infringements. So also here you can read more and get to know more about deliberate release into environment of GMOs. So, and of course, EU countries can restrict or prohibit release of GMOs that constitute risk to human health and environment. So when you read all EU food legislation, you can see what I told you at the very beginning, that in EU, interest of consumers and protection of is the main priority. So human health and consumer interests are the main priority in European Union. And I think that's all for GMOs. And because we are a little bit late for our next session, control, official control. So Imru,
Yeah, yep.
yeah, I think we need to start with official control, yes, to catch up and then discussion.
Okay, so after completing the official control, then we'll go for the breakout session. What's your plan?
Yeah, I see that now we had to have this discussion session.
Breakout
Yes.
session. Okay. So I am creating 5 groups.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. And then
Mod-
I will combine official control and phytosanitary requirements all together after. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So requesting Modgem, if you have a specific agenda, because as per our previous discussions, we were trying to bring some of the requirements from the food business operator, farmers, and the researcher and academia also. So what are the steps that we need to take to reach in EU markets? Those are the issue. Said, are you
Yes.
there?
Yeah.
Because
Please.
yesterday we had one agenda, but we are also thinking to bring some of the ideas that we can take as our activities in our future functions.
Yeah, of course.
So if you can brief on that, and based on your discussion, you just continue discussion on your agenda. By this time, I am creating the breakout room.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, bye.
So thank you everyone, because the training is going on, and yesterday we had a group discussion. So actually, what is the our point in EU requirement, because we have a good potentiality to export of our products to especially in EU, European Union and Middle East. So in this time we are actually working on EU requirement. And that's why actually our project is Bangladesh improving trade and business enabling environment. This project actually is working on trade facilitation. So obviously we are working on how to expedite the export facilities. So in this regard, actually, just we are going to another one group discussion today within a short time. Imrulbhai is doing the break room. So in this break room, we will discuss. So how our
Banglaয় বলেন, so that they can understand, সবাই যেন বুঝতে পারি আমরা, সব পার্টিসিপেন্ট যেন অ্যাক্টিভলি করতে পারে।
সো আমাদের গতকাল যে আমরা গ্রুপ ডিসকাশন করছিলাম, সেই গ্রুপ ডিসকাশনের উদ্দেশ্য ছিল যে আমাদের দেশে আসলে আমরা ইউ যে রিকোয়ারমেন্ট আছে সেই রিকোয়ারমেন্ট থেকে আমরা কতটুকু পিছিয়ে আছি, অর্থাৎ আমাদের দেশ থেকে আমরা কি সমস্যা ফেস করতেছি টু এক্সপোর্ট দা আপনার ফ্রেশ ফ্রুটস ভেজিটেবলের ক্ষেত্রে। সো এখন আমরা যে গ্রুপটা আমরা ডিসকাশন করব আজকে, সেটা হলো যে আমাদের এই প্রজেক্ট থেকে আমরা কিভাবে আমাদের যে ফার্মার্স আছে, যে সমস্ত এক্সপোর্টার আছে এবং ট্রেড অ্যাসোসিয়েশন আছে, তাদেরকে আমরা কোন কোন ক্ষেত্রে আমরা আর কর্মক্ষেত্রটা বাড়িয়ে দিতে পারি, আমরা কি কি সাপোর্ট দিতে পারি, যে সাপোর্টের মাধ্যমে আমাদের যে ল্যাকিংস গুলি আছে, আমাদের যে সমস্যাগুলি আছে এক্সপোর্টের ক্ষেত্রে, সেটা আমরা দূরীভূত করতে পারি। তো সেই জন্য আজকে আমরা ডিসকাশন করব। সেখানে গতবারের মতো আমরা 5টা গ্রুপে আমরা বিভক্ত হব, এবং প্রত্যেকটা গ্রুপই এটা আপনারা একটু আলোচনা করবেন যে আমাদের আসলে কোন কোন জায়গাতে গতকাল যে আমরা আইডেন্টিফাই করছিলাম প্রবলেমগুলি, সেখান থেকে আর কোন কোন জায়গাগুলিতে আসলে আমরা যদি হাত দিই, আমরা যদি কাজ করি, তাহলে আমাদের এক্সপোর্টটা আরো মোর এক্সপার্টাইট হয় এবং আমরা মোর জিডিপিতে আর্ন করতে পারি। তো এটাই আমাদের উদ্দেশ্য হবে আজকে এখন গ্রুপ ডিসকাশনে। সো ইমরুল ভাই, আই থিংক
ওকে, হ্যাঁ মজিব ভাই, থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ। জাস্ট আমাদের এজেন্টটাও তো আমরা বুঝলাম। আমরা 4টা গ্রুপ করেছি, গতকাল 5টা করেছিলাম, 4টা টাইম কনস্ট্যান্ট, আমরা 4টা করলাম গ্রুপ। 4টা গ্রুপের রুম নম্বর 1-এ রেবেকা আপা থাকবেন টিম লিডার। রেবেকা আপার নেতৃত্বে আমরা ডিসকাশন করবো, এবং রেবেকা আপা 1 থেকে 2 মিনিটের মধ্যে আপনাদের ফাইন্ডিংসটা প্রেজেন্ট করবেন আফটার দি সেশন। আর রুম নাম্বার 2-তে ডক্টর আরিফ ভাইকে আবারও টিম লিডার বানাচ্ছি আমরা গ্রুপ নাম্বার 2 এর মডুলেশনের জন্য, এবং গ্রুপ নাম্বার 3-তে ডক্টর জসিমউদ্দিন স্যারকে আমরা টিম লিডার বানিয়েছি, এবং রুম নাম্বার 4-এ সিরাজুল ইসলাম ভাইকে। আশা করি আপনারা 4 জন আমার কথা শুনতে পেরেছেন। তো আমি গ্রুপটা ক্রিয়েট করছি, আপনারা আপনাদের নেতৃত্বে সকলের সাথে পরিচিত হয়ে আমরা একটু এজেন্ডাগুলো কম্পাইলেশন করব। কম্পাইলেশন করে আমরা যখন আবার মূল সেশনে ব্যাক করব, তখন আমরা আমাদের ফাইন্ডিংসটা সকলকে প্রেজেন্ট করব, যাতে করে আমরা পরবর্তী স্টেপে এগুলো নিয়ে ওয়ার্কআউট করে আমরা কিছু একটা কাজ করতে পারি, দেশের ইকোনমির গ্রোথে আমরা যেন কন্ট্রিবিউট করতে পারি। তো তাহলে আমরা ক্রিয়েট করে ফেলি, সবাই আশা করি রেডি আছেন। আমি তাহলে ক্রিয়েট করে ফেললাম। আমরা আমরা থাকবো হচ্ছে 20 মিনিটস, তাই না মজম? 20 মিনিটস
একটু একটু কমাই দেন, যেহেতু আমাদের আসলে টাইম শর্ট, আমরা তো
ওকে
আরো অনেক ক্লাস 15 মিনিটস আই থিংক।
15 মিনিটস করে দিলাম।
হ্যাঁ
15 মিনিট
দেন
শেষ হলে আমরা
ডিসকাশন
30 সেকেন্ডের একটা গ্রস টাইম পাবে প্রত্যেকটা টিম।
রাইট
ওকে,
রাইট।
তাহলে আমি ক্রিয়েট করে দিলাম, সকলের সাথে ইনশাআল্লাহ রুমে দেখা হবে। ওকে বাই। সবাই ক্লিক করলে ওখানে চলে যাবে। কি তানভীর, তানভীর কিন্তু শুনতে পাচ্ছি না।
হ্যাঁ, আসসালামু আলাইকুম, কেমন আছেন?
এই তো বাচ্চা আছি। কি আপনি কোনো রুমে জয়েন করেন নাই?
না, আমার নেট চলে, কারেন্ট ইলেকট্রিসিটি চলে গেছিল তো।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, যাই জয়েন করে দিব, কোনো সমস্যা নেই। এমনি কি অবস্থা, কেমন
হ্যাঁ
চলতেছে?
হ্যাঁ, চলছে মোটামুটি। এখন একটু মানে একটু মার্কেটের অবস্থা ভালো।
মার্কেট অবস্থা ভালো?
হ্যাঁ, এই
ভেরি গুড।
গত সপ্তাহ থেকে মার্কেটটা ডেভেলপ হচ্ছে, এর আগে প্রোডাকশন কম ছিল।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা।
মানে অনেকে তো খুব বন্ধ হয়ে রাখছে, আমরা তো তারপরে চালাইছি, মানে 8টা 7টা 8টা পর্যন্ত চলবে, আমরা 4টা বাজে কাজ শেষ।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, মানে মার্কেটিংটা মোটামুটি হইতেছে, সেল হইতেছে আর কি।
হ্যাঁ, এখন সেল
আপনি কি
হচ্ছে।
এক্সপোর্টে যাইতে পারছেন, মানে কোনো ইনিশিয়েটিভ নিছেন?
এক্সপোর্টে চিন্তা ভাবনা করতেছি, আমরা কিছু একটা নতুন প্রোডাক্ট চিন্তা করতেছি তো।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা,
এখন এইগুলা নিয়ে একটা চিন্তা ভাবনা আছে।
আমরা কিছু ইনিশিয়েটিভ নিব আপনাদের সাথে, হয়তোবা আমাদের এই যে ছোট ভাইরা অনেক ইনিশিয়েটিভ নিচ্ছে এক্সপোর্টের জন্য, দেশের মার্কেটিং এর জন্য। যদি ফ্র্যাঞ্চাইজি করে করা যায় সেক্ষেত্রে দ্যাট উইল বি ফাইন। রিমি,
না, এটা করে দেওয়া যাবে।
হ্যালো রিমি। এই রিমি, কি শুনতে পাচ্ছ? রিমি আনমিউট। যাক, রিমিরে ব্রেকআউট রুমে ভাগাই দিই। রিমি শুনতেছে না, রিমিকে ব্রেকআউট রুমে পাঠিয়ে দিলাম। চলে গেছে। হ্যাঁ তানভীর ভাই,
এই বলেন ভাই।
তাইলে সব মিলে কি অবস্থা?
না, চলছে মোটামুটি। এখন কিছুটা ভালো প্রোডাকশন চলে, ভালো লাগে আর কি।
ভালো প্রোডাকশন চললে ভালো লাগে, হ্যাঁ স্বাভাবিক, ভালো
সেলস
প্রোডাকশন চললে
ভালো
ভালো
থাকলে,
লাগবে।
সেলস
মানে
ভালো থাকলে মালিকের মন মেজাজ ভালো থাকে,
ঠিক,
আমরা ভালো থাকি।
গোটা সাপ্লাই চেইন যদি প্রপারলি ওয়ার্কআউট করে তাহলে তো সবাই ভালো থাকবে।
এটাই।
ঠিক।
সরি
মানে
আমি আসলে ডিসকানেক্ট হয়ে গেছিলাম, সরি।
কি অবস্থা রিমি, সব ঠিকঠাক? তোমার কোনো সারা শব্দ খুঁজে পাচ্ছি না অনেকদিন, শুধু লাস্টের দিকে তুমি খুব হয়ে যাচ্ছ দেখতেছি। এখন তোমার কি অবস্থা, ক্লাস ক্লাস চলে তোমাদের অনলাইন?
জি ভাইয়া, ক্লাস চলতেছে রেগুলার।
কয়টা পর্যন্ত ক্লাস থাকে?
কয়টা পর্যন্ত আসলে এখন তো শেষের দিকে, ক্লাস হচ্ছে একটা দুইটা, মানে প্র্যাকটিক্যাল ক্লাস গুলো বাকি আছে, ওইগুলো একটু হচ্ছে।
প্র্যাকটিক্যাল কেমনে করায়? বাসায় বসে কি তোমরা অনলাইনে প্র্যাকটিক্যাল ক্লাস করো?
ভাইয়া মানে প্র্যাকটিক্যালের থিওরির যে পার্ট গুলো আছে ওগুলো পড়াচ্ছে,
আচ্ছা,
আর এমনিতে তো হচ্ছে ল্যাব ক্লাস করা পসিবল না।
সেটাই, ফিল্ড স্টাডি করাও সম্ভব না। যাই হোক, তোমার
হ্যাঁ
মেন্টালি
সেটাই।
সাউন্ড আছে তো না সবকিছু মিলে?
হ্যাঁ মোটামুটি আলহামদুলিল্লাহ।
মোটামুটি আবার কেমনে হবে? হয় ভালো থাকবা নাহলে খারাপ থাকবা, জীবনে কোনোদিন মোটামুটি থাকবে না। যখনই জীবনে মোটামুটি হবে তার মানে ভাববা কোনো একটা ঝামেলা আছে। সব সময় এসপার অথবা ওসপার, মাঝখানে থাকার চেষ্টা করো না, তাই না?
আচ্ছা,
আমাদের
জি ভাইয়া।
মুসলমানদেরকে অনেক সময় বলে না যে যেমন 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 হচ্ছে কি বলে, অনেকে চিংড়ি খেতে চায় না, বলে কি এটা হচ্ছে মাকরু, তাই না? তারপর অনেকে
হ্যাঁ,
খেতে
এটা তো
চায় না,
মাকরুহ।
বলে যে এইটা মানে যখনই কারো কনফিউশন থাকে তখন সেটা নিজে নিজে বানাই দেয় মাকরু মাকরু। এরকম বললে কিছু নাই, ইসলামে এরকম ডাউট ডাউট নিয়ে কোনো কথা বলা নাই, হয় হালাল অথবা হারাম, করা যাবে অথবা করা যাবে না,
এগুলো
ভেরি
আসলে
স্ট্রেট কাট।
কুসংস্কার।
হ্যাঁ, ভেরি স্ট্রেট কাট। এই কারণে সব সময় ভালো থাকতে হবে, সব সময় ইন্সপায়ার্ড থাকতে হবে, মনোবল থাকবে সবসময় স্কাই হাই, সবকিছু করে একদম ফাটাই ফেলবা, এরকম মধ্য পন্থা অবলম্বন করবা না, বুঝছো না?
আচ্ছা, জি ভাইয়া, দোয়া করবেন।
অবশ্যই দোয়া করবো। এখানে এই সেশনে আমরা একটা এখন ব্রেকআউট রুম চলতেছে, হ্যাঁ, তোমাকে আমি একটা রুমে পাঠিয়ে দিব, তুমি সেই রুমে গিয়ে ওই টিমের সাথে পরিচিত হবা, কারণ তোমাদের পরিচিতিটা অনেক বেশি ইম্পর্টেন্ট, তোমরা যেহেতু অনেক ছোট, তোমাদের পরিচিতিটা দরকার। জব মার্কেটে আসার আগে যদি সকলের সাথে পরিচয় হয়, তো সেখানে পরিচয় হওয়ার পরে ওরা অর্গানিক প্রোডাক্ট, সরি অর্গানিক না তো, ফ্রেশ ফ্রুটস এন্ড ভেজিটেবল নিয়ে ওরা কথা বলতেছে। ফ্রেশ ফ্রুটস এন্ড ভেজিটেবল নিয়ে যেহেতু কথা বলতেছে, তো সেখানে তোমারও কিছু কন্ট্রিবিউশন থাকবে, বুঝছো?
হ্যাঁ, হ্যাঁ, ইমরুল ভাই,
হ্যাঁ সাদ ভাই।
আমাকে আবার আগের ইসে ঢুকাই দেন তো, আমার কারেন্ট চলে গেছে তো, আমি বের হয়ে
এই
গেছি রুম ওয়ানে।
কত নম্বরে?
এটা কি রুম ওয়ানে ছিলাম নাকি? আরে,
আহ
আমার রুম ওয়ানে তো কেউ কাজ করতে চায় না, সব লেজি।
কে কে ছিল বলেন তো?
আনুল স্যার ছিল, তারপরে
ও
কি নাম,
আইনুল ভাই, গুড,
কি
তাহলে
নাম,
গ্রুপ 4 গ্রুপ 4।
আনুল স্যার বলে আমার মুখে
আইনুল,
ব্যথা, কি গালে ব্যথা নাকি
হ্যাঁ
গলায়
এই যে
ব্যথা।
আইনুল ভাই আছে গ্রুপ 4, এই জন্য তো সিরাজুল ইসলাম ভাইরে দিলাম।
ওই সিরাজুল ভাই ও চলে যেতেছে।
চলে যেতেছে?
হ্যাঁ, সে বলতেছে তার বেশি
তাইলে
বেশি নাকি
ওইখানে
কাজ
আছে
করে।
হচ্ছে এব্রিদ, এব্রিদ আছে, এব্রিদ মানে পুলক, ইউনিমার্টের পুলক আছে,
আচ্ছা,
কৃষ্ণ
দিয়ে দেন।
আছে। তো পুলকরে দিয়েন, তাহলে পুলকের সাথে বলে ওখানে ইয়ে করেন। আমি তাহলে গ্রুপ
আচ্ছা,
নাম্বার
ঢুকাই দেন।
4-এ আপনাকে পাঠিয়ে দিলাম, গ্রুপ নাম্বার 4, ওকে, গ্রুপ নাম্বার 4। তাহলে রিমিকে কোন রুমে পাঠিয়ে দিব? ও রিমি কিন্তু গ্রুপ নাম্বার 4-এ। তোমার কাছে কোনো মেসেজ আসছে রিমি? চলে গেছে। তারপর তানভীর ভাই বলেন, বউ বাচ্চা কেমন আছে?
আছে মোটামুটি ভালো, বউ একটু অসুস্থ।
অসুস্থ? আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা। কি
হ্যাঁ,
ঠান্ডা লাগছে? করোনা?
তো
করোনা
ঠান্ডা না, ওই পেটে ব্যথা হয়।
ওহো,
ওই তো
না
যেটা-
এগুলো নর্মাল, এটা কোনো অসুস্থ না, এটা নর্মাল প্রক্রিয়া।
হ্যাঁ, ওইটাই ওষুধ খাচ্ছে, অ্যান্টিবায়োটিক চলছে। মানে ছোট বাচ্চাটা তো খুব দুষ্টামি করে,
হুম।
ওরা খুব কাজে। আমরা তো এখন আবার দুইটা নতুন প্রোডাক্ট আনলাম, দুইটা নতুনের ভিতরে যে আপনার চকোবল যেটা আছে, দুইটা
হ্যাঁ
করতে
হ্যাঁ
তিনটা
হ্যাঁ।
আসবে আর কি। চকোবলটা করতেছি, মানে এখন এমডি এর টেনশন পুরোটাই হলো ওইদিকে। আর আরেকটা হচ্ছে রোস্ট আলমন্ড, ওই বাদামের উপরে কোটিং দেওয়া হচ্ছে, চকলেট কোটিং।
আপনার বাদাম নিচ্ছেন কোত্থেকে তাহলে?
আর বাদাম ওই নিয়ে আসতেছে মৌলভীবাজার থেকে নেয়, ওই
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা,
কাঠবাদাম যেটা,
বুঝছি বুঝছি বুঝছি।
কাঠবাদামের উপরে কোটিং দেওয়া। আর একটা করতেছে হলো এমনি পিনাট বার, যেটা ওটা এখনো
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
করিনি
হ্যাঁ,
আমরা। মোটামুটি চিন্তা আছে যে পিনাট বারের উপরে চকলেট কোটেড হবে।
বুঝতে পারছি। না
মোটামুটি এই
এটা
জিনিসগুলো একটু
এটা ভালো
এটি
চলবে।
নিয়ে এক্সপোর্টের জন্য, এটি এক্সপোর্টের জন্য চিন্তা ভাবনা, যে এটা তো লোকাল মার্কেটে এই জিনিসটার ডিমান্ড কম, সুপার সফট।
কোথায়
আর হচ্ছে
লোকাল মার্কেটের ডিমান্ড আছে?
লোকাল মার্কেট আর কি, অভিজাত এলাকাগুলো চলে আর কি, একটু
হ্যাঁ ও, এই
কষ্ট একটু তো বেশি করবে।
বাদামের কাজ তো অভিজাত এলাকায় চলবে না?
হ্যাঁ, হ্যাঁ,
বাদাম
একটু
সব অভিজাত এলাকাতেই ডিমান্ড। বাদাম কি আর গরিব মানুষের খাবার ভাই? সারা পৃথিবীতে বাদাম হচ্ছে সবচেয়ে এক্সপেন্সিভ খাবার।
এক্সপেন্সিভ খাবার।
কাজে এটা
ওইটা চিন্তা ভাবনা করছে হলো ওই, এই জন্য ইউনিটটা নতুন করে সাজাইছিল। ওই যে নাসির ভাই আমাদের দোতলা চকলেট প্লান্টের পাশে ওপেন ছিল, যেটা এটা পুরোটা এখন গ্লাস দিয়ে ঘিরে ফেলা হয়েছে,
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা
এসি দেওয়া হয়েছে, মানে পুরা বিলো টেম্পারেচার বিলো 19-এ থাকে, 19-এর নিচে থাকে।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা।
তো এখন পুরো চলতেছে ওই ই করার কোটিং করার জন্য তো ই লাগে, আর এই যেটা মিক্সার ব্লেন্ডার, ওই ব্লেন্ডার ছিল 3টা দিয়ে শুরু করছিলাম, অলরেডি 6টা
আচ্ছা।
হয়ে গেছে।
কেন এতগুলো ব্লেন্ডার দিয়ে কি
মাল
হবে? প্রোডাকশন তো এখনো শুরু হয় নাই।
লাগে না, শুরু করছে এটা চকোবলটা শুরু করছে, চকোবল আর হইতেছে অ্যালমন্ডটা, এটা শুরু করা হয়েছে।
আচ্ছা 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 আচ্ছা।
চকোবলটা তো এখন লোকাল মার্কেটে চলতেছে ভালো।
ঠিক ঠিক চলবে। ওই বাদামের ভালো ডিমান্ড আছে এখনো পর্যন্ত বাংলাদেশে, এবং এটার
বাদাম পিনাটটা মোটামুটি আমাদের চলে, মোটামুটি চলে, এটা অতটা চলে না, মানে চলে। আর এরপরে চিন্তা করতেছিল ওই চকলেট কোটিং দেওয়া বারের উপরে, চাইছিলাম যে খালি চকলেট দিয়ে বাদাম ই করতে, কিন্তু মেশিনে এটা সম্ভব না, টুকরো হয়ে
আচ্ছা।
যায় যে বাদাম দিয়ে চকলেটের ভিতর বাদাম দিয়ে ওটা করতে, কিন্তু ওটা থাকে না, ভাঙে যায়।
একটা
তো
প্রোডাক্টের
এখন
কিন্তু খুব
চিন্তা
ভালো
ভাবনা
ডিমান্ড ছিল
করছি।
যদি এটা করা যেত। ওই যে নসিলা খাইতাম না ছোটবেলায়
তবে
আমরা,
হ্যাঁ
নসিলা,
হ্যাঁ
এখন যেমন ওই যে নিউট্রেলা,
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
নসিলার যে রেসিপি, নসিলা বাংলাদেশে এখনো পর্যন্ত কেউ ম্যানুফ্যাকচার করে না। ছোটবেলায় মনে আছে আমরা চেটে
হ্যাঁ, ওইটা
চেটে চেটে
অ্যালসন করতো
খাইতাম।
না,
এলসেন এখন করে,
অ্যালসন করতো।
এখন তো করে না মনে হয়।
এখনো তো করে, কমে গেছে, এটা ডিমান্ড
মানে
কমে
ওটা
গেছে।
দেখি না তো, এখন তো সবাই নিউট্রেলা খায়,
আরে
ইম্পোর্টেড
এখন
ওয়ান।
মানুষ তো এগুলো খায় না, মানুষ এখন খায় হচ্ছে ফাস্ট ফুডের খাবার।
ঠিক ঠিক ঠিক।
মানুষ এখন ঢুকে গেছে এগুলো ফাস্ট ফুডের দিকে, ইয়ে হয়ে গেছে। আর হচ্ছে
কি
কাচ্চি, কাচ্চি খাবে, গ্রিল খাবে, গ্রিল এসে মানে সব শেষ করে দিবে।
ঠিক ঠিক ঠিক। চিকেন, ফ্রাইড চিকেন টিকেন এসব নিয়ে ব্যস্ত সবাই।
চিকেনের প্রতি এখন লোকটা বাইরে গেছে মানুষের।
ঠিক।
আবার তো চিকেনে এখন তো শুনি মুরগির আড়ত থেকে অসুস্থ মুরগি যেগুলো আছে,
হুম
ওইগুলো নাকি এই গ্রিলওয়ালারা ওইগুলো